Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, and here is the day trading futures video for today. So starting off the SP 500, or as you can see over here, on the right hand side, everything is in red today. Not any big drops besides oil. The rest of them are just slightly below even, so no big move one way or the other so far. But starting off here on the SP 500, what you can see right here that I have in my chart, this is a crossover trade. As you can see, here is the crossover that happened yesterday by the little maroon diamond right there, which was about 12:40. Was that a.m.? Oh, p.m. Yeah, 12:40 p.m. yesterday. So price kept on going down. So we just draw the retracement up here, down to there. So then when it comes back and hits the 38% right there, the initial target we're looking for is right down here. But obviously that didn't come up and hit, so then we can go to the contingency plans. So then the second exit we have is it changes. It goes when it goes to 88.6, the exit comes down here to the 38%. That did not happen. And so then lastly, when it hits the 1.146, then we move the exit down to the 61.8 level, which is the bottom of that blue box, and price has not hit that yet, but that will be the target that will remain there, even if price continues to go up all the way to the 2.618 all the way up here. Doesn't look like it's going to at all, but just so FYI, that is the trade setup that we are looking for. We did have on the 1 minute chart a nice trade early this morning, because I had mentioned yesterday, really the only time I'm looking to get in these trades is when it goes down to the 2.618 level right there. So as you can see, this one was just a standard scalping trade setup. We used this yellow semaphore. I highlighted it so I'd remember to talk about this one. We used this yellow one right here, yellow one right there. So then price came down, hit the 38, which indicates that we're looking for a move back up higher right there from it, and that obviously did not happen. So then it hit the 61.8. So when that happens, the exit moves to the 38% line, but it didn't even reach back up to the 50%. Hit the 88.6, barely got over halfway to get to 61.8. If it got, like, say, right up in here, something like that, I would say it's good enough to be done with it, but it did not, and just kept on dropping. So then it went all the way down to the 2.618 area, and this is when it found its support, as you can see down in this area. So it just went up and down, waffled up around a bit, and then we had the market open up over, which candle was it? 30 right there, that big candle, and you see there's a lot of fluctuations because there's news coming out today. Then eventually price went up, took it out right there, and then the target was it would have been just below the 88.6 level for the scalping trade. I usually get out a little bit earlier, especially if I get in down to the 2.618. So that one got me out, but it came up next candle, took it out, no problem. So that is out. That scalping trade works. Then if we look at right here there is a 1 minute scalping trade setup. We go back all the way over here because the red semaphore right there. And here we can see on the 1 minute chart, there's the crossover right there that it happened. There's a little red. I probably need to change that color, make it easier to see. But the red diamond, that signals that there's a crossover to the downside. So for the crossover trade, we just keep on moving this down until the 30% line gets hit after the crossover, and that did not happen until right here. Price come up at 38, hit off the 61.8, and it came back down very close to hitting the target down here at the 1.146. I'll just expand it out here a little bit more. See, there's a 68 it got hit, and so that's still a good target. We only changed the target levels to the 38 if it goes up and hits the 88%, but hit off the 61.8, came down very close to hit the 1.146, so consider that one to be done with it. And then moving on, looking forward right here, just using the 1 minute chart. I mean, there are some other trades today. Here's a scalping trade, hit the 88.6 down to the 61.8 right there, and then just going the other way right here. Price is bouncing off the 38% line, actually right off the 50% line. So the next target, if this move does continue up, would be up here at the 1.146 line right there. And then in the overall grand scheme of things, yeah, we're still looking for more movement here to the downside, down to this level right here, which would be around 39.83 from it. So just looking for that. And then for the 4-hour chart, you can see that here's the big discrepancy again between price and the MFI indicator, the money flow index indicator. We have definitely a lot of divergence. We were making lower highs in the MFI but higher highs in price, and also the MFI is again in overbought territory, so just adding fuel to the fire that we're looking for more of a drop, at least down to right here, which would be about 39.80ish or something like that, which not a big deal. That's pretty much when the market opened up yesterday. So, but we are looking for price to move down to that level sooner than later. Now the Russell 2000, kind of same sort of thing. This is an EMA crossover trade right here, and you see price went up there, ticked the 88.6%, or came extremely close to it. So the target is going to be down here at the 38% line, which is at 1864.50. Going over here into the 1 minute chart, there's another similar setup, just like the S&P 500. And I think I mentioned this yesterday, that for some reason the Russell and the S&P 500 are running very similarly together right now. Normally the S&P 500 and Dow Jones are the two that run together, but this time the Russell and the S&P are big buddies. So price came back down. This is just a scalping trade right here. Price came down and did not find support until it hit the 2.618 level, start bouncing around. You see that's when I got in right there and just let it waffle around right here. Went down a little bit, but then eventually went up there and ticked off the scalping. Yeah, so 88.6, and there's 80.6. Got out that candle a little bit below it right there for it. But as you can see, the kind of in the scalping trade, when you get that extreme move going off the other side and it's still in play, meaning it hasn't gotten filled, you know, in one of these spots up here. It seems to be a great level for when the support happens, and price still can go a little bit lower, but this is kind of where the support happens for whatever reason until the price goes up and hits that target for it. And then going here, just looking forward, look at this. We have, you see there's a green. Oh, that's to the upside right there. Yeah. So then all we do is go into the upside for the EMA trade, is draw the Fibonacci retracement level. We see it's bouncing perfectly off the 38% line, so the target we're looking for from that move would be right up there to 1905.3. Going over to the MFI indicator chart, we can see that price has gotten just ticked up barely over the being the overbought indicator for it, but we're not getting the divergence because you can see here price is going lower, the MFI indicator is going lower. I guess it would have been probably something like right over there, something like that, close enough to it. So not big divergence like we have in the S&P 500 for it, but it still is in overbought territory, so we are looking for an eventual push down in this market as well. That would coincide with the S&P 500. Going over into Dow Jones, this is the one that really isn't following along too well with S&P 500 and Russell 2000. Price still is not in overbought territory. It was the only one that went into oversold territory down right here. Again, this is 4-hour chart because you can see price swoop down into it, and here's where the oversold territory started, which actually was right down in here, but then kept going lower, eventually gathered some support, and now has pushed back up. So typically what happens, as you can see down here, it goes from being overbought to oversold, overbought to oversold, but like in the Russell 2000, that obviously didn't happen that time. It went from oversold, overbought, not quite oversold, way overbought, not down oversold, and overbought again, but typically you will go back down to that oversold spot sooner than later for it. So since the previous one's oversold, we're looking for this one to continue to move up and go into that overbought territory, so it can be best buds with the Russell 2000 and the S&P 500. Going over here to the 5-minute chart, I don't remember if this is a 5-minute trade or a 1-minute trade. Yeah, so this was the 1-minute trade setup right here. You see the little red diamond that signifies there's a crossover in the EMA, so we just used the previous red semaphore, which was right there before we had the crossover, and just keep drawing it down until we get that retracement back up to the 30% line, which was right here. So that initially kicked it off, but it didn't continue back down. Hit the 61.8, got a little resistance, but not a lot, and then hit the 88.6. So that's when we moved the exit up to the 38%. So that's the level we're looking for here on the 1-minute chart of the Dow Jones, down to about 33,583. Price is currently at 33,724. And when we would move the target to the 61.8 is if price continues to move up and hits the 1.146 at 33,802. Then the exit would just remain down there at the 61.8% level. But I wouldn't be looking to get into it unless price just really took off, all the way up here at 34,224. Going over to oil, I'll tell you what, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Look at the MFI real quick. It is slightly come off being just barely taken over, being overbought, but there is big divergence in this one because as you can see, the MFI have been making kind of lower highs as it's going down, but price has been starting right about here, have been making pretty much higher highs as it's going up. So oil's got some divergence as well, so we're looking for more of a sell-off in that one. And there actually has been a little bit one day. It's about percentage point and a half down today for it with still room to run. Let's see what this says. Brent crude falls for over 1%. Okay, that's real insightful. But anyways, so what we're looking for right here is we have right here, this is the EMA trade. You can see we're using on the 1-minute chart, we're using the red semaphore. We keep moving up. There we have the green triangle, signifies a crossover. And just leave right there. Price came down, hit 38, so target we look for is up here, but that did not get hit. So price kept moving lower and lower. Found a little support over 88%, but didn't go up to the 38, which is where the new target would have been. So now it just keeps on moving lower and lower. Hit the 1.146. So then the target is the top of this blue box up here. That would be $81.32. But if the market really drops out and we get a real big sell-off here in oil, which could happen. I mean, the SP 500 and Russell are due for a little bit more of a push down, definitely than what we're seeing. I mean, the Russell's actually up right now. But if oil falls along and we don't get this push up, but if we get the push lower down here, all the way down, something in this area, $78.36. In my opinion, that's a great area to buy. And then the exit would not be until up here at about $81.30. So hope for a sell-off because that would be a great time to be able to get to crude oil for it. And ye old Nasdaq. You see Nasdaq, look at that boy. Wow, that is completely overbought right over there. That thing's blowing it out. So Nasdaq is just like Russell and SP 500 is oversold, and oil as well. And so yeah, looking for eventually that one to come back down from being oversold for it. Going over here in the 5-minute chart. What we have right here, we have an EMA trade here on the 5-minute chart. You can see there's the high, the previous high from it, the red semaphore, there's crossover, there's the low. Price hit 38, did nothing, 88 did nothing, and now is it has kept on going up. So there's actually two setups within this one right here. It's a scalping setup and the EMA crossover trade. For the scalping trade setup, the exit is this black line right here, which is just north of the 88% line right there. But for the EMA crossover trade, the exit is this blue box with the bottom of it down here, down to the 61.8 level. So, wouldn't be looking to get in this one unless price continues to move higher, closer to this 2.618 level for it. I mean, it's still, if I had a lot more money in my account, then yes, this would be a decent looking area to get in because, you could still get out either at the 88.6 level for the scalping trade or hold it all the way down to the 61.8 for the EMA crossover trade for that one as well. So that's going to be the wrap up for today. As you can see, just going over here on the charts, the SP 500, it will be in looks for a move down sooner than later. Same thing for Russell 2000. Same thing for oil, and although oil did a little bit today. And then also same thing for the Nasdaq. The only one that isn't in conjunction with the rest of them is the Dow Jones, but more than likely it will follow the rest of them as well. So that's it for today. Have a good one. Stay safe. Thanks. Bye.